General Hospital spoilers tease that Mayor Laura Collins, Jenny Francis, has 3 children, but none of them are currently living in Port Charles. Lulu Falconeri, last played by Emma Reilyn, was caught in an explosion at the Floating Rib several years ago and suffered brain damage. She's been in a coma ever since. Laura's eldest son, Nicholas Cassadine, Adam Huss, went to prison for kidnapping Esme Prince, Avery Kristen Pohl. But Laura has another son as well, Lucky Spencer, last played by Jonathan Jackson. So perhaps it's time for him to return home. Lucky lived in Port Charles for years, ever since he was a teenager. After spending the first several years of his life on the run with his father Luke Spencer, Anthony Jerry, and Laura, Lucky joined the rest of the teens in Port Charles. It was then that he fell in love with Elizabeth Weber, Rebecca Herbst. Lucky and Liz were together on and off for years, and they had one son, Aiden Weber, Tristan Riggs. Eventually, the couple just couldn't make things work, and Lucky left town and hasn't been seen since in Port Charles. Laura also recently suffered quite a bit after the death of her grandson Spencer Cassadine, Nicholas Chavez. So Laura has been diving headfirst into her work. She's taken on a role that has proven quite controversial. Laura is advocating for Heather Weber, Allie Mills, who could potentially be released from prison after it was revealed she has been suffering from cobalt poisoning for years. Since has been quite violent over the years, Laura has met considerable opposition to her plans, as one would expect. Through it all, Laura's husband Kevin Collins, John Lindstrom, has stood by her. But soon he might realize that Laura needs more than just him. Perhaps her will call Lucky and convince him to return home, if only for a visit. Lucky's return could have a huge impact, not just on Laura, but Elizabeth and Aiden as well. Elizabeth just broke things off Hamilton Finn, Michael Easton. So it's possible history could repeat itself and Liz and Lucky could find love once again. What do you think? Is Lucky needed back in Port Charles? Would Lucky help Laura process all the losses she's suffered these last few years? Is it time for Lucky and Liz to reunite? Anything can happen in Port Charles, so stay tuned to General Hospital, airing weekdays on ABC. Don't forget to check back right here regularly for all your General Hospital news, information, and spoilers. General Hospital fans are bracing for a major emotional storyline that will undoubtedly tug at the heartstrings of Port Charles residents and viewers alike. As Laura Spencer's Jenny Francis' life takes an unexpected and heartbreaking turn, her family finds themselves banding together to support her in ways they never imagined. The recent spoilers hint at a deeply emotional and family-centered storyline as Kevin Collins, John Lindstrom, calls in a favor from none other than Laura's son, Lucky Spencer, Jonathan Jackson, who has been absent from Port Charles for years. But why is Laura in need of support? And what will Lucky's return mean for her, the Spencer family, and the town? Let's dive into the emotional and dramatic buildup of what's to come. The story begins with Laura Spencer, Port Charles' beloved matriarch, facing a health crisis. Although General Hospital has teased health issues for Laura in recent months, this particular incident seems to be different. Laura's condition has been worsening, and there's growing concern among her family and friends. Kevin, who has always been by Laura's side, recognizes the severity of the situation and knows that she needs the support of her family now more than ever. Laura, who has always been the glue holding the Spencer family together, is now facing an uncertain future. As her health deteriorates, she finds herself unable to carry the weight of her responsibilities alone. Her loved ones can see the toll it's taking on her, but Laura refuses to show weakness, a trait she inherited from her years of fighting for survival in Port Charles. However, as she struggles to keep a brave face, the emotional strain becomes too much for her to bear, leading to Kevin's decision to take matters into his own hands. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Kevin picks up the phone and dials Lucky Spencer, hoping that the prodigal son will answer the call. Lucky's estrangement from his family, particularly his mother, has been a running storyline for years. His departure from Port Charles after battling his own demons and his complicated relationship with his father, Luke Spencer, Anthony Jerry, left a significant void in the Spencer family dynamic. Although Lucky has returned to Port Charles briefly over the years, he hasn't been a permanent fixture in his family's lives. However, the situation with Laura changes everything. Kevin knows that Lucky, despite his distance from Port Charles, will always care about his mother. With Laura's health hanging in the balance, Kevin's plea for Lucky to return to town is one of desperation and hope. Kevin makes it clear that Laura needs him, and the family can't go through this without Lucky by their side. Lucky has always been known for his independent and somewhat rebellious spirit. He's been through so much, from the trauma of his childhood to his troubled adult years, but there's always been an undeniable bond between him and Laura. Lucky's return to Port Charles will undoubtedly bring forth a mix of emotions. There's love, pain, guilt, and perhaps even some unresolved issues, but the urgency of the situation might overshadow past grievances. Lucky's return to Port Charles will be nothing short of emotional, both for him and his family. While Lucky may have been distant for many years, his love and respect for Laura have never truly wavered. The moment he walks through the door, the weight of his absence will be felt not only by Laura, but by the entire Spencer family. His siblings, Lulu Spencer, M. Raylan, and Nicholas Cassadine, Marcus Coloma, will likely be torn between their own complicated emotions and the need to support their mother. Lulu, in particular, will feel a sense of relief and gratitude that her brother has come home, even if their relationship has been strained over the years. But there may also be underlying tension, as Lulu has always felt that Lucky was the golden child in the Spencer family, often overshadowing her in their parents' eyes. The reunion between the two siblings may not be without its own set of hurdles. Meanwhile, Nicholas' feelings about Lucky's return are more complicated. Nicholas has always struggled with his own sense of identity within the Spencer family. His strained relationship with his father, Luke, and the complex dynamics of being a Cassadine and a Spencer make him especially conflicted about welcoming his half-brother back into the fold. However, with Laura's health on the line, even Nicholas will have to put aside past differences and embrace the importance of family. The real catalyst for this storyline, though, is Laura's vulnerability. Throughout her time in Port Charles, Laura has been the epitome of strength. Whether she's running for mayor, being a mother to her children, or dealing with the ever-present danger brought on by her family's history, Laura has never been one to back down. But now, in the face of her own mortality, she's forced to confront her deepest fears, losing her family. It's a hard pill to swallow, especially for someone who has always been the protector, the one who keeps everything together. When Lucky arrives back in Port Charles, there will undoubtedly be an emotional reunion between him and Laura. For Laura, this may be the first time in years she allows herself to fully rely on her son, something she's had to do without for a long time. Lucky, on the other hand, will likely find himself torn between his desire to make things right with his mother and the guilt of leaving her to face her challenges alone for so long. The reunion won't be without its share of difficult conversations. Lucky's absence in Laura's life has caused both pain and distance, and there may be unspoken tensions between them. The truth is, Lucky hasn't just been away from Port Charles physically. He's been emotionally distant as well, perhaps out of fear of facing what he left behind. Coming face to face with Laura will force him to confront his own demons, the mistakes he's made, and the relationship he's neglected. But with Laura in need, Lucky may feel an overwhelming sense of guilt for not being there sooner. Despite these challenges, the shared history between mother and son will be undeniable. The bond between them is built on years of love, loss, and triumph. In this time of crisis, that bond may be enough to help them start the healing process.